Okay, everyone, never, ever, 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 ever pull down the fire alarm for fun. And kids, never, ever, ever, ever pull down the fire alarm at school as a prank or to skip a test and quiz. And do not do it to get out of class. No. Do not ever do it, because fire alarms are not toys. They are very serious life safety devices that alert people when there is a fire inside the building and they must evacuate the building immediately. So these things save lives and also alert the fire department to come and put the fire out. So these save buildings from being burnt to the ground as well. So these are the reasons why you do not mess with these things. And Wednesday was April Fool's Day, a day for pranks. April Fool's is just stupid altogether, and if it involves pulling the fire alarm or doing anything like that, it is a deadly day. Fire alarms are not a joke. They are very serious. You need to take fire drills very, 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 very seriously. These drills are not a joke. When the fire alarm goes off at school, you need to get out of the classroom and walk outside of the school immediately. And follow your teacher's instructions to make sure that you are out safely. And walk 100 feet away from the school building. That is what we have been told since we were in preschool. When the fire alarm goes off in our school, get out of there and walk 100 feet away. And that is the most important life skill that you could ever do, is knowing how to evacuate a building when a fire alarm goes off. These drills do save lives. They do. Because of all of the practice and of knowing what to do. So one day when you are an adult and you live in an apartment and you have a job, and then God forbid there were a fire in your apartment or in your office building, you would know how to evacuate when the alarm goes off because of all the practice you did during your school life, because of all the drills. So these drills are very important and are meant to be taken very seriously. They are not a joke. Let me tell you, during my school life, there were some incidents of kids and teenagers pulling the fire alarm. When I was in kindergarten, at dismissal time, a student pulled the fire alarm. By the side entrance of the school. And then in first grade, after my first fire drill of my first grade year, another student pulled the fire alarm by the playground door or something. And then in second grade, another student pulled the fire alarm in the cafeteria. And then in fourth grade, another student pulled the fire alarm by the side door. And then in sixth grade, another student pulled the fire alarm in the gymnasium. And then during my senior year of high school, another student pulled the fire alarm at the side door of the main entrance of the school. On the same day that Mikey pulled the fire alarm to skip a test, Mikey from Darman. And that fire alarm system sounds the same as the Darman fire alarm system. And when I did a summer school program back in 2013, 2 days in a row, a student pulled the fire alarm in the gymnasium. So, yes, I did experience this my school life, and it was not a joke. It wasted the fire department's time every single time this happened. And every single time that this happened, there could have been a real fire somewhere else, and those people would have died, and quite frankly, they did die because of these students. So, had they not done it, all of those people would still be alive today. So, this is no joke. Do not pull fire alarms unless you really do detect a fire in the building, or if you have permission to pull it for a fire drill at school, just like my friend Josh did a few times over the course of the last few years. Or if you have permission to pull it when testing the fire alarm system in a building, or if you have your own fire alarm system at home that doesn't contact the fire department. If it's not for those reasons, you do not pull it at all. If you pull the fire alarm as a joke, you will get into very serious trouble, and you will go to jail because it is a felony. If you cause someone to get seriously hurt or die, it is a very serious felony. So do not ever do this. This is not a joke. This is not a prank. This is very serious. And these fire alarms are meant to be taken very, 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 very seriously. Also, never ever tamper with fire alarm equipment, like do not take it off the wall or the ceiling. Do not adjust the volume, the pattern, or the tone on them. Do not adjust the candela on them. Do not take the fire lettering off of them. Do not take the logo off of them. And with the Genesis fire alarms that are in many of the schools where I live, do not cross out or rip out the Running Man escaping from the fire image on them. Do not paint them. You just leave them alone. Do not tamper with the control panel. Do not tamper with the detectors. Do not tamper with the annunciator. Do not do any of that. You just leave fire alarm systems alone in a public building, because these are not toys. These are very serious devices that save people's lives. Also, with fire drills at school, with special education students. Special education students have a very tough time when it comes to fire drills at school because of the loud alarm, the flashing light, and the chaotic hallways when evacuating the building. And that is stressful. With these simplex fire alarms, oh my goodness, the fear is even worse because of the buzzing sound that these fire alarms make. Even Edwards EST Integrity and Genesis Horn Strobe fire alarms cause problems, but not as much as simplex or the pre-integrity or the 892 series from Edwards EST. Remember those old alarms that I had remember those old fire alarms that I had in elementary school? They were scary when they went off. Same with the simplex fire alarms. Oh my goodness. And when you get to my point in my life and you are at a school like the current school I go to, and you go out to work sites, and if you work in a school, you would fear fire drills while you are working there. Especially if it's a fire alarm in that school that you heard when you were younger, like with simplex or the 892 and pre-integrity. If you haven't heard those things in a while, because the 892 and pre-integrity are very rare right now. They are such old fire alarm devices. A lot of buildings don't have those alarms anymore because they are outdated pieces of technology. But a lot of buildings still do have the regular integrity even today, including my high school. A lot of stuff are LED now, and with Edwards EST, it is the LED Genesis. Still very loud, but not as scary as the pre-integrity and 892, or as these simplex alarms, or as these simplex fire alarms. Man, special education students and fire drills do not mix, especially with fire alarms like the Edwards EST 892 and the pre-integrity and these simplex and wheel-lock fire alarms in schools. They are torturous. Goodbye.